Welcome to the Hidden Palace with Skyblaze.
Good morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are in the world. It is I, Skyblaze. I'm back here on Radio SEGA with the Hidden Palace. Right, here is where I hope that the messing about I did earlier to make my equipment work has actually worked and that everything is functioning as it should be. I don't actually know if it is. So let's find out and proceed anyway. So, ages ago now, I did an episode about Sega's first arcade development team called AM1. Now, they also had a secondary team who were conveniently and logically named AM2, who also worked on other projects alongside AM1. Now, the team were led by Yu Shizuki and Toshiro Nagoshi, and they developed games such as Hang On, Space Harrier, and Outrun. Now, this group only really became AM2 from 1990 onwards, after they stepped themselves aside from the rest of the development group and became their own separate team. The palm tree logo for AM2 was first used for Daytona USA in 1993, and we'll go over some other interesting games from their catalogue. Now, the first one I want to cover is Dynamite Ducks, which I've sometimes seen it written with like a bizarre umlaut on it, so I'm not really sure how you meant to pronounce it. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Which is a two-player side-scrolling beat-em-up where you play as Bin and Pin, the pet birds of Lucy, who is a poor girl who has been kidnapped by the sorcerer Achacha the Great. Achacha. Right. It was released in 1988 for arcades, before being subsequently ported to the Master System in 1989. You have to punch and use military hardware through 6 levels, with bonus rounds at the end of Stage 2 and 4, where you have to box each other for bonus points. Because of course. The levels you fight through are Downtown, Japan, Jungle, Chicago, Texas, and finally the boss Achacha. Alright. So I have no idea if any of you can actually hear me, because there's very little going on in the chat right now. But let's have some music anyway. So, from Dynamite Ducks, No Ducks, No Cry. Once I can get my software to work, there we go.
dance to the fall. Engine plays a rugby. Show me what you can do. Victory is yours.
And we are back. And that was Daytona USA 2 Battle on the Edge. The alternate version. I can't actually see. It's hidden the thing from me. Oh well. And before that it was Dynamite Ducks, No Cry. So, yeah, Daytona USA because, of course, AM2 worked on Daytona. Plus I quite like that song, even though it's short. Right, speaking of Dynamite Ducks has some weird things in it, such as Colonel Sanders, yes, him of Kentucky Fried Chicken fame, is in the background in front of a KFC restaurant immediately as you start level 1. He is also the referee of the boxing match bonus rounds. No prizes for guessing what the favourite meal of the development team was then. One other Easter egg this game has was only accessible in the Amiga and Atari ST versions. Now, by editing parts of the game code, you can access a more adult version of the intro story. Somehow this managed to slip past the censors at both Sega and Activision. I am not going to go into details, you can find it if you look it up, but yeah, okay. Now, if anybody has played this game or even seen some gameplay, you'll notice something very familiar about the designs of Pin and Bin, the two birds. They look pretty similar to Bean the Dynamite of Sonic the Fighters. Yeah, that's because they were what Bean was based on. They just changed the bow tie for a neck scarf and the shoes for something a bit more Sonic, and all of a sudden you have, yeah, Bean the Dynamite, there he is. Plus, you know, Dynamite Ducks. It makes sense. And Green Viper knows exactly what I'm talking about. Kevki's asking if I'm feeling better. Yeah, for those that don't know, I had to take some time off from doing this because I was getting these awful, crippling headaches that meant twice I was in hospital because of them. Investigation is still ongoing. They've got me on, they did some blood tests, they've got me on some different medication, and I'm due to go and have a scan at some point. I don't know when that's going to be yet. I'm on the waiting list for that, so I'm doing a bit better, but we still don't know exactly what's causing it, which is a bit of a concern. Let's have some more music then. So I'm going to have another track from Dynamite Ducks, this time Acha-Cha the Castle, and then a track requested by Electric Boogaloo, who I know is kind of AFK at the moment because they're working on something, but this is Dynamite Ducks Acha-Cha the Castle, followed by Outrigger Quiet Life, requested by Electric Boogaloo. And we are back. Is this working? Yes, it is. Okay. Paranoia. Alright. That was Dynamite Duck's Acha-Cha the Castle, followed by Outrigger Quiet Life, requested by Electric Boogaloo. Okay. Right. Viper has sent me a last minute request, so I'll try and get that sorted in the next musical break. Right. Quest of D is an interesting game series. It have 4 games released since 2004. These arcade cabinets have you playing an RPG game, which is pretty similar to Phantasy Star Online, where you or some people have actually compared it to Diablo, which is pretty interesting and kind of makes me stroke my chin and go, "Oh, really?" Because I'm a big Diablo fan. Don't talk to me about Diablo Immortal. I do not have the time to do that long of a rant. Where was I? Right, so you collect cards which give you either skills, item, or monsters which you can use throughout the game. This sounds more like the Kingdom Hearts, the one with the cards in it, whose name I've forgotten. Not Recoded, oh bloody hell, it'll come back to me in a bit. The cards are actually physical and you can collect these and use them on replays of the game. Alongside the controls, which is a joystick and 4 buttons, you also have a touchscreen allowing you to pick the card you want to use in the game. Sadly, as with a lot of interesting games, these were only released in Japan. There was a series of Shining Force games which were released in Japan, which is pretty much a spiritual successor to Quest of D, but without the card collecting element. I'm pretty sure I was talking about Shining Force Cross Raid there, but I am not sure because I wrote this a couple of months ago and I can't remember. So I've put a Cross Raid track on the list in the hopes that that's what I was talking about. So sorry if I got that wrong, but I have been ill. Leave me alone. Now, one of the more unique arcade machines Sega has made is the R360, which allows you to rotate in 360 degrees in any direction. They should bring that back and pair it with VR. So you need to strap into yourself like a roller coaster with an overhead bar and seatbelts. You also get an emergency stop button if you find it too much to handle, say for example if you are motion sick. This sounds quite fun actually, because I don't get motion sick. So there are at least 2 games that were made to work effectively with this setup, the first of which was AM2's G-Lock Air Battle. In this, you take part in dogfights against various enemies and completing missions such as taking out smaller enemy crafts such as ships, planes and tanks. So your average flight sim, flight battle type thing. The game and arcade cabinet were released in Japan in 1990, with worldwide release happening 2 years later. I have seen one of these in the wild, but that was a long time ago. In Scarborough, I think, back in the 90s. The other game was War Wing, but that was made by AM1, so doesn't count for this particular episode. Now, Doan's arrived, nearly forgetting that this was on. He's been busy tabletop gaming. And so is your cat, from the look of things, Doan. Your cat is trying to sit in your dice holder, from the looks of things. Do they fit? Green Viper saying, "Oh no, Diablo." Yeah, I have been a big Diablo fan since the early days of Diablo 2. I like Diablo 3. That is all I am going to say on the matter. Let's have some more music instead. So let's have from G-Lock Air Battle, which is composed by Matt Furness, who's quite a talented composer actually. He's done quite a lot of stuff. Stage 3A, after which we will have Shining Force Cross Raid, I can say words, a shaded road that connects heaven and earth. just says, "Can you play me this song from this particular soundtrack?" I go to the Radio Sega archive, download it, look for it, it's not frigging there. And then I said, "Are you sure it's on that soundtrack?" And he says, "Yes, just not on the version that's on Radio Sega." Where did you think I was going to get it from, Viper? Shakes fist. God. Right. Where was I? It was in here somewhere. Ah, yes. Did you know? I'm gonna cycle that because it's quite short. AM2 were responsible for Sonic's first ever appearance in an arcade game. That game being Rad Mobile. Released in January of 1991, it features Sonic appearing as an air freshener in the rearview mirror, as in the car that you drive. That's pretty cool. Rad Mobile itself is a speed/endurance racer where you have to race across the USA. Your major obstacles being a time limit, traffic, police on certain stages, weather effects such as rain and fog. And what makes this game pretty advanced for its time is that you had to use buttons for the windscreen wipers in the raining stages and headlight in the nighttime stages, as though it were a real car you were driving. Quite a few rally and things like the Le Mans games have taken that up as a thing that you have to do now and have introduced even more complications to it. Is Viper sending me a thing? Yes, he is. You're still a pain in the arse, Viper. No, don't try and play it, you useless bloody thing. Right. Where was I? Now, some of the stages in Radmobile, however you pronounce it, have multiple routes that you can take, such as in Springfield, where you can drive on the train tracks instead. But you have to be pretty careful about avoiding the trains that come up behind you. As mentioned earlier, this is an endurance race, so you don't stop between stages, you go straight on to the next stage. So you're racing from the start in Los Angeles to the finish in New York, which is quite a long way. In what can only be described as a WTF moment, when you were in first place in Radmobile, your car stops in front of the crowd and a police officer walks in front of the car, making it look like you're seriously busted. But wait! The officer then inflates and explodes into a scantily clad woman wearing a sash reading Race Queen. Congratulations then appear on the screen and the credits start to roll. AM2? What were you smoking? Is there any more? Good grief. Finally, the Virtual Cop series. With the first game released in arcades in 1994, it was the first light gun shooter that used 3D polygons, and was advertised by SEGA as the world's first texture map polygon action game. Technically it wasn't, but we're not going to go into that. In it you play as Michael Rage Hardy and James Smarty Cools. Really? Fine. As they try and take down Evil Incorporated, which is led by Joe Fang. Is it just me? Or if you were working for a company called Evil Incorporated and your boss was called Joe Fang, wouldn't you have the slightest inclination that something had gone wrong? It's like that's the Mitchell and Webb sketch. Are we the baddies? Anyway, let's have some music. So Radmobile, however you pronounce it, Soup Up, the 2011 version, and Virtual Cop Arcade, Advertise. I think that's from the track mode, but it's a pretty cool track. So enjoy. Once I get my technology. And we are back. And I've lost my notes. Where are they? There they are. So that was Radmobile, Soup Up 2011 version. And Virtual Cop Arcade Advertise, which, as I said earlier, I think is the attract mode. Doan saying, at least Evil Corp are honest. Evil Corp delivering high standards of orbital death lasers and expendable ninja armies since 1996. That's pretty good, actually. Right, so, hot on the heels of Virtual Cop 1 came Virtual Cop 2, which made its way into the arcades a year later. This one introduced Janet Marshall, who is an expert in criminal psychology, profiling who is fighting to avenge her dead partner. Once again, you find crimes being committed by Evil Inc. and Joe Fang, who you thought had died in the first game, but wasn't actually dead. Apparently Virtual Cop 1 was only a setback. Not much of this differs from the first game, except the graphics, which had improved slightly, but the final game in the trilogy introduces a few more changes. So Virtual Cop 3 has you playing as Michael and James again, with Janet acting as your eyes and ears, giving you info as the game progresses. What changes in this game and sets the game apart from its predecessors is the introduction of the ES mode, which gives you bullet time. Yeah, okay. You remember how I asked earlier what exactly AM2 was smoking? Check this out. The organisation ECM have stolen cloning technology for dinosaur DNA. And then you see Joe Fang, who you saw plummet to his death in Virtual Cop 2. Well, your final level after completing the first 3 has you going up against an army of Joe Fang clones until the final one evolves into some sort of dinosaur demon called Dino Fang. Good! Excellent! They clearly had all of the good stuff at AM2, didn't they? Oh dear, right. Okay, right. Let's have more music then. Because I managed to sort out that annoying request from Viper, who requested something 20 minutes into the show. Shakes fist. I'll have my revenge on you later. So, let's have some music from Virtual Cop 2. So Virtual Cop 2 Escape. And we're also going to have something from Project Eva Arcade, Luca Night Fever. It's apparently a remix. I have not had a chance to actually listen to it, so I have no idea what it sounds like. If it sounds awful, blame Viper. Let us proceed. house. Electric Boogaloo is distracting me. So, that was Project D for Arcade, Luca Luca Night Fever, which was requested by Green Viper, who originally told me he was sending me a remix, but he didn't. Oh well. What is that your Green Viper has? Is it a rabbit thing? What is that? He's put a little emoji thing on, I don't know what it is. Anyway. So before the Project Eva thing, it was Virtual Cop 2 Escape. We had quite a decent soundtrack. Virtual Cop 2. A little pedestrian, but there's some good tracks in it. So, on to the Chiptune Corner! Back in October, it was, I found out through Twitter, one of the people I know from the 664 8-bit scene posted that a very talented composer from the Commodore 64 8-bit microcomputer days called Ben Daglish had passed away, sadly. He was widely considered a pioneer. He worked on quite a lot of different tracks for Commodore 64, Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, that sort of thing. And he worked on things like the Mask game for Amstrad CPC. The Last Ninja was probably his best known track. Switchblade, Rainbow Dragon on the C64, Hate, Death Wish. Did he do Cobra as well? I can't quite remember. But yeah, he did a whole bunch of stuff. So in tribute to him and his work, I am going to play one of his tracks, which is in fact from The Last Ninja. It's the Dungeons Loader from the C64. So I hope you enjoy that, and I will see you again after the break. And we are back, and that was Ben Daglish, the Last Ninja Dungeons loader. Electric Boogaloo said that Ben Daglish also worked on Chronicles of the Sword for the PlayStation 1. He did an awful lot of stuff. I mean, up until pretty recently, I think he was still working. His catalogue of work is pretty enormous. He's best known for his work on the microcomputer era, but yeah, he did an awful lot of stuff. It's worth checking out his work. Kohina's got the Kohina Radio's got quite a lot of his stuff catalogued, but yeah, it's worth taking a look at it on YouTube if you can't find it anywhere else. Right, so that was the Hidden Palace for today, and thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. I should hopefully be back next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. I'm sure I'll think of something. But if you've got any suggestions, please let me know. You can contact me through Discord, through Twitter, where I am at Blazing Skies, through the Radio Sega Facebook page. And yeah, if you've got any topics you want me to cover, if you've got any music you want me to talk to play for a particular topic that I'm covering, please let me know. I am always happy to take ideas on board. And thank you so much everybody for tuning in and listening. I'm so sorry about the really long break. Hope it doesn't have to happen again. And I hope I don't need to go to hospital again, because that's really annoying. Yeah, so I'm Skyblaze, this was a Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. Hope to see you again next week, and we're going to have a remix from another track from Daytona USA, although this one's going to be a remix. So from Ben Briggs and Prototype Raptor, this is Rolling Start Daytona USA. Thanks guys, take care and good night.